Lisa? Carol? Fremont.
Is this the Lisa Fremont who never wears the same dress twice?
Only because it's expected of her. It's right off the Paris plane.
Rear Window wasn't just Hitchcock's voyeuristic thriller. It was a technical and logistical nightmare that transformed Paramount's largest soundstage into a meticulously crafted Greenwich Village courtyard, complete with functioning apartments, working electricity, and complex lighting systems that simulated different times of day. Behind those carefully composed shots of James Stewart spying on his neighbors lurked production chaos, dangerous stunts, and a director obsessed with creating authentic moments, even if it meant terrorizing his own actors. From the elaborate million-dollar set that stretched from basement to ceiling, to Grace Kelly's risky stunt work, to Raymond Burr being deliberately transformed into the spitting image of Hitchcock's nemesis, here are 20 weird facts about Rear Window that reveal the extraordinary lengths Hitchcock and his team went to create this masterpiece of suspense. And stay for our bonus fact, which uncovers the disturbing real-life murder case that inspired Hitchcock's most chilling sequences. Ready to look through a different lens at one of cinema's greatest achievements? Let's begin. Number 1. The entire film was shot on what was, at the time, the largest indoor set ever constructed at Paramount Studios. The massive Greenwich Village courtyard replica stretched from the basement floor all the way to the ceiling of stage 18, encompassing 31 separate apartments. Unlike most movie sets with only facades, Hitchcock demanded that each apartment be fully built and functional, complete with working plumbing and electricity, creating a self-contained neighborhood that the crew nicknamed a small city. This wasn't extravagance, but necessity. Hitchcock's vision required a complete world where real life could unfold simultaneously across multiple dwellings. Number 2, James Stewart's broken leg wasn't just a plot device, it was Hitchcock's deliberate attempt to create authentic discomfort. Stewart spent the entire 6-week shoot confined to a wheelchair, experiencing genuine physical restriction and irritation in the summer heat. Hitchcock refused to let Stewart leave the wheelchair between takes, insisting that the frustration would translate on screen. It wasn't just psychological torment. The wheelchair itself was modified to be particularly uncomfortable, with an awkward back angle that forced Stewart to maintain a rigid posture. The actor later admitted this deliberate discomfort contributed significantly to his character's irritability and voyeuristic tendencies. Number 3, the elaborate courtyard set created unprecedented technical problems that nearly derailed production. The immense lighting requirements generated so much heat that the automatic sprinkler system kept activating, repeatedly flooding the set. Paramount's electrical team had to devise a custom cooling system and rewire the entire soundstage. It was, at the time, the most complex electrical job ever undertaken at the studio. During one particularly hot day of filming, the temperature on set reached 120 degrees, causing 2 crew members to collapse from heat exhaustion. Despite these disasters, Hitchcock refused to simplify the set, insisting the authenticity was worth the literal and figurative headaches. Number 4, Raymond Burr, who played the murderous Lars Thorwald, was deliberately made up to resemble David O. Selznick, Hitchcock's former producer with whom he had a bitter professional feud. Hitchcock had costume designers recreate Selznick's signature round wireframe glasses and had makeup artists dye Burr's hair to match Selznick's gray curls. Burr was even instructed to mimic Selznick's mannerisms, including the distinctive way he cradled a telephone against his neck. This petty but elaborate revenge was Hitchcock's way of literally turning his former boss into a villain, a fact Hitchcock gleefully acknowledged in private but never publicly admitted. Number 5. The film's elaborate day-to-night lighting transitions required technological innovation that didn't previously exist in Hollywood. Hitchcock demanded 4 complete lighting setups, morning, afternoon, evening, and night, that could transform the entire courtyard's appearance with minimal disruption to filming. This required an entirely new system of synchronized dimmers and filters that took 3 weeks to install and test. When fully operational, the lighting rig could transition the entire massive set from daytime to nighttime in under 4 minutes, a technical achievement that lighting designers would study for decades afterward. During one take, the system short-circuited, plunging the set into darkness and causing $20,000 in damages. Number 6, Grace Kelly performed her own dangerous stunt climbing into Thorwald's apartment, a fact that horrified studio executives. When Kelly insisted on doing the climb herself rather than using a double, Paramount tried to forbid it, concerned about ensuring their valuable star. Hitchcock, Seeing Kelly's determination, secretly arranged for her to perform the stunt while the studio representatives were at lunch. The scene was completed in one take, with Kelly scaling the actual fire escape 3 stories above the soundstage floor with minimal safety precautions. James Stewart later recalled, "When I saw her climbing that fire escape, my heart was in my throat. She had no fear whatsoever." Number 7. The famous climactic confrontation between Stewart and Burr involved a painful and dangerous photography technique that Hitchcock tested on unwitting crew members. The scene required Burr's character to be disoriented by camera flashbulbs, but Hitchcock wasn't convinced the effect would look authentic. To test his theory, he ambushed several crew members with actual flashbulbs at close range to observe their reactions. Satisfied with their painful disorientation, he insisted on using real, high-intensity flashbulbs during filming. The scene required 17 takes, and by the end, Burr was suffering from temporary partial blindness that lasted for several hours. The actor later said it was the most physically unpleasant scene he'd ever filmed. Number 8. Hitchcock deliberately withheld key story information from Raymond Burr during filming to capture genuine confusion. Burr wasn't given a complete script, only receiving his own scenes with minimal context. Hitchcock wanted Burr's portrayal of Thorwald to exhibit authentic bewilderment when confronted with evidence of his crime. During the final confrontation, Burr's famous line, "What do you want from me?" wasn't just acting. The actor was genuinely confused about his character's motivation in that moment. Hitchcock later told Francois Truffaut this technique produced the perfect blend of menace and desperation he wanted for the character. Number 9. The film's iconic Miss Torso dancer, played by Georgine Darcy, had to overcome Hitchcock's unusual demands. The director specifically forbade Darcy from taking dance lessons before filming, insisting her movements needed to look amateurish rather than professional. When Darcy revealed she had ballet training, Hitchcock made her deliberately incorporate mistakes and awkward movements. During filming, Hitchcock would unexpectedly change the music playing on set to throw off her rhythm. Despite these challenges, Darcy's performance became one of the film's most memorable elements, and her apartment scenes were among the most technically complex to film due to the distance from Stewart's window. Number 10, the film's production schedule was severely disrupted by Grace Kelly's scheduling conflict with On the Waterfront. Kelly had originally committed to Elia Kazan's film before receiving Hitchcock's offer. Rather than choose between projects, Kelly attempted to do both simultaneously, flying between New York and Los Angeles. The commuting proved impossible, and Kelly ultimately chose Rear Window, a decision that cost her an almost certain Oscar nomination. The role in On the Waterfront went to Eva Marie Saint, who won the Academy Award that year. Kelly's exhaustion from the cross-country travel is visible in certain scenes, which Hitchcock incorporated into her character's arc rather than reshooting. Number 11, the famous scene with the couple struggling with a mattress on the fire escape was the result of Hitchcock's cruel prank. The actors, Sarah Berner and Frank Cady, wore earpieces to receive Hitchcock's directions during filming. Without telling either actor what he was doing, Hitchcock instructed Berner to pull the mattress in one direction and Cady to pull in the opposite direction. Their genuine struggle and frustration were captured on film, including an unscripted moment when Cady accidentally fell through the window. Hitchcock was so delighted with this authentic reaction that he kept it in the final cut. Despite the actor suffering minor injuries from the fall, number 12, Hitchcock drew direct inspiration for the murder plot from two notorious real-life British murder cases. The disposal of Mrs. Thorwald's body was based on the 1924 Patrick Mahon case, in which Mahon dismembered his pregnant mistress and disposed of the pieces from a train. The suspicious husband aspect came from the 1910 Dr. Hawley Crippen case, who murdered his wife and told neighbors she had gone to America. Hitchcock was obsessed with these cases, having followed them as a young man in London. He kept newspaper clippings from both murders in his personal files and consulted them when planning the film's murder logistics, insisting on forensic accuracy despite the limited glimpses the audience would get of the crime. Number 13. Grace Kelly's famous entrance scene with the three dress outfits cost nearly $100,000 to film, an extraordinary sum for a single scene in 1954. Costume designer Edith Head created 8 complete outfits for the sequence, though only 3 appear in the final cut. Hitchcock demanded that each costume be made from scratch. Set construction revealed structural problems, insisting that the audience would feel the quality caused a catastrophic couldn't consciously identify it. The weight of the multi-level apartment complex strained the stage's support columns to their breaking point. With the lighting on the dresses, 2 weeks into filming, engineers discovered hairline fractures during filming. Several lighting technicians fainted from the heat, rather than rebuild the set elsewhere, which would have delayed production by months. The film's sound design represented a revolutionary reinforcement columns disguised as parts of the buildings. Unlike most films, the repairs took place overnight while filming no traditional musical score except for source crew members working in hard hats due to the danger. Hitchcock created a complex sound map of the avoided disaster when a portion of the unused section collapsed after hours throughout the film, destroying camera equipment. To achieve this, but causing no injuries, constructed a pioneering multi-layered soundtrack. The film's original ending was dramatically different and actually unheard of before Hitchcock abandoned it. When the initial conclusion showed Thorwald committing suicide by jumping from his apartment in real life after being murderers don't kill to musical accompaniment. Test audiences found this ending too disturbing. Thelma Ritter, especially the graphic depiction of his body in the courtyard. Hitchcock reluctantly shot the more subdued ending with Thorwald's off-screen instructions, but remained dissatisfied with it. For years, he expressed regret about changing the finale, telling colleagues the suicide would have provided perfect symmetry with Jeff's fall. The original footage was reportedly destroyed in a studio vault fire in the 1970s. Number 19. Hitchcock's obsessive attention to detail extended into the most minute aspects of the film, costing the studio thousands in seemingly unnecessary expenses. He demanded that the goldfish in Miss Lonelyhearts' apartment likely be replaced daily because they didn't look lonely enough. Number 16. The director spent James 3 days filming the Gloria's journey through the courtyard garden set due to Grace Kelly's reputation for affairs to get the exact movement he wanted. Kelly had recently been involved, most notoriously, with several married 20 different telephone rings, including for Thorwald's phone, whose wife eventually recording his own and modifying it in post-production. Concerned about the obvious chemistry, this perfectionism pushed the film 15 days over schedule and $200,000 over budget, often positioning herself directly behind Hitchcock. The film was nearly killed by censors before release due to scenes they considered morally questionable. Such tension that Hitchcock, the production code administration, initially rejected the film before Gloria would arrive. To scenes where Kelly, aware of the situation, appeared to be topless when viewed from a distance. The most, according to screenwriter John Michael Hayes, Hitchcock had deliberately included these more provocative elements as a diversion, expecting censors to object to them while missing other problematic content. The strategy worked. Hitchcock easily replaced the objectionable shots with alternate takes while preserving the film's voyeuristic tone and subtle sexual content that would normally have been flagged by censors. Bonus fact: Rear Window became the center of a landmark Supreme Court case that changed copyright law forever. Although produced in 1954, the film disappeared from circulation for years due to a complex legal battle over the rights to the original Cornell Woolrich story. In 1990, the case reached the Supreme Court as Stewart v. Abend, with James Stewart and Hitchcock's estate fighting for the right to screen the film. The court's controversial ruling established that copyright renewals could revert to an author's heirs rather than remaining with film studios, fundamentally altering intellectual property rights in Hollywood. The legal battle made Rear Window unavailable for public viewing for nearly a decade, creating a generation of cinephiles who knew of the film's legendary status but had never actually seen it. What began as a simple thriller confined to a single location transformed into a testament to Hitchcock's obsessive vision and revolutionary filmmaking techniques. Rear Window wasn't just a film about watching. It became a study in how far a director would go to achieve perfection, how actors would push physical boundaries for authenticity, and how technical innovation could emerge from creative necessity. The film's legacy extends far beyond its critical acclaim, influencing everything from cinematography to sound design to legal precedent. Next time you watch Rear Window, look closer. Behind every frame lies a story of creative determination, technical ingenuity, and sometimes dangerous commitment that rivals the murder mystery unfolding on screen. Hollywood would never look through the same window again.